Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? I just wanted to mention that in between the episodes I have been mining a lot, but I guess it's fairly obvious. But I have actually done more than that. I have made a massive tunnel. Even if you stand in the center, you cannot see where it ends. I just wanted to make sure that whenever I want to go mining, I will have easy access to veins. I think I should make a habit of not going mining that much, because I think all of the chests are almost full. Well, for a very long time, we're not going to go mining, but before we start our brand new project, let's visit our bees. I have been mining under this mountain for a while, so I'm really hoping they have been productive, yes. And I have also brought extra frames. They're garbage, I know that. You're gonna break. I had to do a few things around the base, and yes, you might notice my inventory is full of food because I just discovered butter. I forgot that I can craft it. So we're testing new food for extra hearts. Anyways, until right now, we never had any automations, and it's basically me jumping between machines. Today, I really want to try and change it by a teeny tiny bit because it's getting a bit out of control. We are in the medium voltage age, and one of the things that I'm always short on are circuits. So we are going to partially automate it. Also, Steam is not going to last that long, so we need to think of a substitute. Automation in this mod pack is such a loose term. We're just going to have a few machines which will do part of our work. So we're going to actually start with rubber. It's not like we have infinite slime balls, but for the moment we're going to use them. That will give us glue as well as raw rubber, right? We want the rubber to go inside a chemical reactor, and we're going to mix it with sulfur. It's a passive production and it doesn't really need to be that fast. But that's rubber. I want that rubber to go inside a low voltage tank. I just made sure that it's not connected to a cable. A bit of that rubber is going to go inside a fluid solidifier with an ingot cast, and that's going to give us rubber bars, right? It's very easy to convert them into sheets, and I might need the bars. It's a bit of a janky wiring, but we want the rest of that to go inside an assembler for making wires. Yeah, exactly like that. This very small system, which is semi-expensive, is actually providing us with raw rubber, rubber in the fluid form, rubber bars, glue for making different circuits as well as resistors, and again molten rubber for making cables. Like so. Again, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it makes me happy. Oh, and by the way, I'm stealing the turbines from here. I haven't made one. Our next garbage automation is going to be for the vacuum tubes. So, a fluid extractor, and we have one assembling machine. Yeah, that works. Circuit number 5. And obviously the final touch is the basic circuit assembler. Makes everything so much cheaper. Which actually, now that I'm thinking, maybe we can put the extractor in the middle? You know, to save on machines. You know, depending on the fluid that I want, I just switch the output. So obviously that is our system. Let's use it in order to make some circuits. It's nighttime every 5 minutes. What's wrong with this mod pack? Actually, I think just the time flies. Again, this is really not an automation, but that's our first automated circuits. The ones that I have not crafted manually, they have been crafted by a machine. It's actually not that bad, and I'm really happy. I guess it's way cheaper to do it like this. But on the other hand, it does take a bit of time. So while my circuits are being prepared, we need to do a few changes around the base, mainly to the kitchen. So currently we do have a few machines inside our kitchen which are used not just for cooking. And well, that's the problem. It ran out of power, because I have never replaced these solar panels and they're calcified, I suppose. We ran out of steam. However, the thing that we have in abundance is actually creosote oil, and I don't use the kitchen that much. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove the steam power, I'm going to remove the iron tank, the solar boilers, and we're just gonna burn creosote oil in the kitchen. It's very safe, don't you worry. Actually, before we get to remodeling, there is one more machine that I want to make from the medium voltage age. I believe the last time that I got into the medium voltage age, my main goal was to get the extruder. You know, it makes you the rotors, it makes you gears, it's amazing. However, this time I have no doubts, we're going to go with an electrolyzer, because there are so many recipes in this mod pack which give you aluminium dust, and most of them require an electrolyzer from the medium voltage age. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our main priority, you know, so that we can get more aluminium. I can't go around and look for aluminium gravel. So we need 2 motors. Let's make sure that the quest is going to count, if there is even one. Oh, that was optional task. We need, oh okay, 4 motors. I'm not gonna do that. We just go for the turbine. And after a teeny tiny bit of crafting, that should be our electrolyzer. We're out of everything, but that is perfectly fine. Very soon we are going to have way more aluminium. So you go over there. Nothing exploded, which is great. And let's see what are the good recipes. I think it's basically everything. Oh, soda light. Gives you aluminium as well as chlorine, so lazurite should also work. I don't want to worry about the chlorine. And besides, I have tons of lazurite. It will consume a bit of power, but what can you do? That's our first aluminium dust. From an electrolyzer, obviously. Alright guys, it has been a while later and I had to do some remodeling around the kitchen. I broke a torch. You go back. So the tanks are down here. You can cover all the parts except the central block. It does have to have access to the sky, so if I cover it somehow, like so, it's still generating water. I don't know, I think it also works with glass. I'm not really sure. But I have also added a tank for creosote oil, but the creosote oil production is not that great. It's still filling the pipe, which is just operating our kitchen as well as our concrete production. However, since I have last played this mod pack, I think a few things have changed. So I made the electrolyzer in order to get aluminium dust. I got a ton of aluminium dust, and then I realized I need nitrogen, so I started making nitrogen. And then I realized you can't really smelt it, you need Cantle coils. Which is really not gonna happen because apparently they have changed the recipe. I didn't know that, but it's not very important. I think I finally got the gist. We're gonna quit. No, we need clay. And now I actually realize why that person said I need a lot of clay. Because you need clay in order to make aluminium. However, there is an alternative. Hardened clay. Or I don't know, in the recent version, terracotta? I always call it hardened clay. Terracotta sounds weird. I don't really remember, but once we made the macerators, I started mining here because it's way easier to get clay dust from hardened clay than clay itself. Unless you have silk touch, then it's the same thing. That should be a decent amount of clay to get us started. Let's go back home. The jetpack is actually quite nice. I enjoy it. Yeah, you see, with the macerators that we have, we're actually getting clay dust at a reasonable rate. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. However, that clay dust has to be electrolyzed and I need to empty that thing. Once it is electrolyzed, we get this, alumina dust. And that's what we want. Well, the main thing that we want. We need to mix this guy with cryolite and we will get 4 aluminium ingots. It's 80 seconds, but you get 4, so it's not that bad. It's just that you eat through the clay. Yeah, he was right, you need millions of clay. Another slight problem is that we're getting tons of water, which obviously we can trash, but I think I have an idea. It's probably a garbage idea. Actually, screw my idea, it's really not gonna work. I was planning to electrolyze that water in order to get oxygen and hydrogen, but the times do not match. This takes 2 seconds to give us 2 buckets, that one takes like 100 seconds in order to process 1 bucket. So that's really not gonna work. So instead we're going to try and make a trash can. Thank you. That should be a quest. Maybe not. Oh, it is. But we convert it into a fluid trash can. That's it. Yeah, we just get rid of the water. What can you do? So now that we have the alumina dust, what we need is cryolite, and I think I have processed a bunch. I knew it had to do something with aluminium. I read it in an update like 4 years ago. That should give me 4 ingots of aluminium. Finally. So it's been a while, and I have been on a wild goose chase. One of the things that I have made is an extruder and a few molds. And I will explain to you why am I doing all of this very shortly. Hopefully. We have reached a point in the game where I need millions of cells for carrying different fluids and for holding them. That sounds weird, it's oxygen and hydrogen and nitrogen and etc. So until right now it was pretty difficult to make cells because you have to make the plate, you have to cut the plate, then you have to assemble the cell. With the extruder it's a 1-to-1 ratio with steel and it is just done in 1 machine, not 3. I obviously also made extra molds, you know, for annoying things like rotors and gears. Let me try to explain to you what is going on. So one of the things that we have to make is polyethylene, right? At this very moment, polyethylene is some sort of a byproduct of oil. Earlier in this episode, I have hit oil sand, and that provides us with heavy oil. You know, if you centrifuge it, I'm distilling that into sulfuric heavy fuel. And yeah, that is an advanced distillery with an advanced turbine. A very small detail that I missed. Now what we need to do is to convert that sulfuric heavy fuel into actual heavy fuel. And that's kind of where my main problem started, because, well, I need a ton of hydrogen. Long story short, I just needed a ton of cells. I think what we need to do is to just mix it with hydrogen on circuit number 4. Yep, that's gonna give us hydrogen sulfide as well as heavy fuel. That's what we want. 8 liters. Holy, I am going to use some of that heavy fuel that we're getting over here in order to power up a few generators and substitute steam, but we also need it for ethylene. And before anybody mentions that it's better to make polyethylene using light fuel than heavy fuel, remember, I have heavy oil. The conversion of heavy oil to heavy fuel is 1-to-1, so it's amazing. If I convert it into light fuel, I'm actually going to lose half of that anyways. That heavy fuel that we got has to be cracked and then distilled, hopefully in a LV machine. We will see. Until we get to multi-blocks, this is going to be surprisingly complicated, but let's send that heavy fuel into a tank. Auto output fluids, yes. Then we put it inside a chemical reactor, and somehow we want to use cells. So we shall have a conveyor belt on export. It should be on export. Come on. It takes a bit of time. It's an LV conveyor belt. It's garbage. Now we need to mix it with steam, which is going to be surprisingly easy because, well, we have steam for our turbines. After a few seconds, we're going to get severely steam-cracked heavy fuel. That has to go inside a distillery so that we get ethylene. For some reason, it's not showing me vice versa, but it's circuit number 10. Really hoping this works. Yeah, it does work. That should be ethylene. Perfect. So polyethylene is just ethylene with oxygen, I suppose. Nothing fancy. Yeah, it can be air, it can be oxygen. Let me get another chemical reactor. Our system works. I added one more chemical reactor. We're mixing ethylene with oxygen. We're getting polyethylene. That goes inside a fluid solidifier and we get polyethylene bars. That's actually quite nice because if I need the sheets, I can convert them to sheets and I will also have access to the fluid. However, we ran into a problem which is happening a bit earlier than I was expecting. We don't have steam. At all. I increased the size of the boiler, but basically this guy has to burn at 500 degrees in order to keep up. And that's really not gonna happen. It's too expensive to run. Well, it's not super expensive, but it does require a lot of attention. Meaning that I have to be constantly aware to provide it with fuel. So here's what we're going to do. First off, we're going to have an MV mixer. Thank you, thank you. Well, this is MV. I guess the quest was weird, it's fine. So something that I have been electrolyzing was rubies, and as a result we got some chrome, and I just got a quest. So what do we want to do with that? Well, we need Cantle. Cantle is a combination of chrome, iron and aluminium. We should have a decent supply of aluminium, yes. I also understand that I needed the chrome in order to make stainless steel later on, but I'm in a hurry. So you go to circuit number 1 and make me Cantle. Also, we're gonna, yeah, that one is disconnected. Fine. Awesome. That's Cantle. We don't actually need that a lot. We just need it in order to make something called Eglin Steel Base. So that's Cantle, iron again, and Invar. Circuit number 20. So Invar I'm making, we just need a bit more iron. You know, I'm just trying to rush towards an inventory panel from Ender.io so that I don't have to go through chests. This is why I'm actually not paying any attention to the infrastructure, because once we hit the high voltage age, none of these actually matter. But yeah, that is Eglin Steel Base. Now we need to make the actual Eglin Steel, which is carbon, sulfur and silicon. Okay, I got some of the Eglin, more of that should be prepared. Oh yeah, that's it. There are so many dusts, you get confused with the colors. But yeah, it's decently fast. So that's around 100 more. We have almost a stack, which is perfect. And now what we want to do with that is actually quite simple. We want to make gears. It should be easy, yeah. Perfect. We have the gears. For the moment we have 4, which is more than enough, and here's what we're going to do with everything that I just did. Advanced semi-fluid generator. We're gonna give it heavy oil that we're producing, and hopefully that's gonna cut down on my steam consumption. So we need 2 motors. I did make the pistons, we're missing everything else. That's annealed copper. Okay. For a second I was actually very scared. I thought maybe we need a brand new ingot, which I don't even have. That is annealed copper. Coat it, and there you go. Our first semi-fluid generator for the MVH. Thank you, thank you. So I'm not really sure about how the production rates are going to work, but I'm assuming this is slightly better than a combustion generator. That is just an assumption, and yes, it doesn't really make any sense, but we're going to use it for our oil production at this very moment. And I do have some heavy oil. Not sure if it's worth it or not. Okay, we're consuming like 3 liters per second, so that can work. And just in case you're wondering, yeah, I'm actually going to use that in order to run the blast furnace. We're going to make the LV versions, and maybe 2 more in order to run a few MV machines. But first, I need to wait for the fuel. So every second I'm actually consuming 3 liters, but I'm gaining 20, so this can work, right? Normally I would prefer to use steam for this, but this is medium voltage. I can't handle that. Also, I think it's not a very bad idea to add more oil. Where do we have it? Yeah, that's oil. And that is all oil. We're doing fine. And the best part of it is, in any second, we're going to get 8 more buckets. Production is a bit slow. I give you that. But what can I do? Well, one of the things that I can do is that I can add 1 more distillery. Why would you go with 1 more when you can have 4 more? The thing is, if you look at the distillery, it will tell you that it's consuming 72 EU per tick, correct? Each MV generator, on the other hand, is generating us 120 EU per tick. So if you want to have 2 distilleries, you're going to need 2 engines. But if you make 3 engines, you can have 4 distilleries. And as it turns out, 1 LV centrifuge can handle everything. And look how fast we're making fuel. Oh, it's full. I'm sorry. I don't always pay attention. Another thing that I have done is that I made 4 more generators for the blast furnace, and now I can constantly run everything. So we're getting aluminium at a decently fast rate, although that's our entire supply. Maybe there's more, I have to look. Well, we do have the ores, I have to process them. But the most important thing is, that's the rate that we're consuming fuel. Multiply that by 4 because we have 4 generators, but that's not bad. Another thing is that now that we have the extruder, we don't really need to have the lathe. A lathe is not that bad, but it's very slow. You know, you get 2 small piles and you get 1 rod. With the extruder, I think it's faster, but you get 2 rods. Oh yeah, it's way faster. Oh my goodness. Now I can actually start making more circuits. I need way more. Also, don't really worry about steel. I just got like 600 ingots from our blast furnaces over there. So we're doing really fine. I also filled them in again. We have a decent supply of fuel, and I have also made a decent amount of circuits. And more is not being made. Ah yeah, vacuum tubes. Actually, we don't need to use that recipe for circuits, I guess, because we want to advance to the new circuits. So let us first pay attention to the quest lines. We need a fluid solidifier. We already have a bunch, but we need one from the medium voltage age. Make me rods, please. Oh, and by the way, I'm not actually making extra diodes, I'm just buying them every time that I get the chance. So fluid solidifier, we want the MV one, which also made me realize I forgot about a few things. Can you make rings with bars? Oh, you can. Awesome. So if nothing has gone wrong, that should be our solidifier. That should be a quest. We don't really need that, so for the moment you go over there. And since I don't really want to waste anything, I can make a super tank. Oh, that would be awesome. Well, let us not get distracted. So we need to hold some ethylene in our inventory. 4. Oh, this could take some time. I'll be right back. I forgot to fill in cells. That's why we don't have it. Otherwise, polyethylene is almost full. Sorry about that, but this is GregTech New Horizons, and well, things take time. We just need the 4 buckets, come on. That should be a quest. And we also put it back, because I don't really need that. Now we need 41 cells of polyethylene. So there you go. We have that too, and we put it back. I just want to make sure that the quests are going to count. Now we need 41 sheets. So that's a bending machine, that should work. There you go. That should be another quest. Thank you. So now what we need to do is to make the plastic circuit board. That's why we needed polyethylene, but now we also need a fluid. Last episode, by mistake, I made iron 3, but I don't really know where it is. I'm not even sure if I actually finished making it. Probably I didn't. What did I press? I'm sorry. I was looking for plastic circuit board. So we need sulfuric acid in order to make the plastic circuit board. Why? Everything is called plastic circuit board. Then we need iron 3 in order to make the actual plastic circuit board, which we will use in another circuit, I guess. It doesn't really matter which route we use, we will use iron 3. Because it's easier and I do have a ton of rock salt. I don't really know why, but I processed some by accident. We just need a bit of chlorine. Oops, they don't have power. I removed the turbines. I'll bring them back, don't you worry. This is a constant theme that I have to wait for ores, so let's do something. Here is an anvil, and we shall make 1 forge hammer. Like so. Really? Well, I guess maybe we were meant to do that, but there you go. I constantly have to wait for ores, and using that big hammer is actually not that efficient. I mean, it's efficient, it's not very efficient for my steam. I'm hoping the LV1 is going to be cheaper, and it's decently fast anyways. It's not consuming much, although it's also not that great. My problem was that I needed some limonite in order to get hydrogen. Yeah, now I guess if we make a chemical reactor, we can make the iron 3. I'm not sure, but I think the quest book has sent me on a wild goose chase. So here is 1 bucket of sulfuric acid, 1 polyethylene sheet, actually 2, and some copper foils. The reason that I'm saying this is a wild goose chase is that this has no uses in this age. Because everything has to be made inside a clean room and, well, maybe not that one. But the clean room is for the high voltage age. Oh, and by the way, I used hydrogen sulfide in order to make sulfuric acid, that's it. But in around 25 seconds, we should get our circuit board. A good board, really. I think it's ready. Lovely. That should be a quest, although I have no idea what it's going to be used for. Well, we will get loot bags later. Although this is not a total waste, because in order to make the good circuit board, which I need, I think, for the HV circuit as well, yes, I did need the iron 3. It's a far cheaper recipe. However, talking about the HV circuit, I think we have to go with this quest line. It's a bit confusing. Trichlorosaline? I'm not gonna read that, but okay. I guess I need way more hydrochloric acid. We need to break you. Another thing is that for some reason, I actually don't produce that much hydrogen. Honestly, I think maybe we should start fixing that, because I'm just centrifuging limonite and I'm not even doing a great job. I had 4 ender pearls and I used them in order to make 3 super tanks. One of them is over there and it's hooked up to nothing. But we have an electrolyzer over here, electrolyzing water, which is giving us oxygen as well as hydrogen, which is empty. Now it should have something, yeah. So I would say for the moment my hydrogen situation has been solved, and that is 50 buckets of hydrochloric acid. A bit more. I will get my hydrogen back, don't you worry. So for the silicon blah blah blah, we need the actual silicon. Yeah, to understand this mod pack you actually have to be a chemist. So I got the silicon, some empty cells and hydrochloric acid. And more empty cells. They don't really want us to make that much, they just want 4 cells. Ah, they want us to make the silicon solar grade. Aha. That's another change, since I have played it last time. But that is 4 buckets, that should be the quest. Thank you. And we just have to mix it with sodium. We get salt. This is such a confusing thing. Somehow we put it in a chemical reactor and it will convert into silicon tetrachloride. Okay, that one I can read. So now that with sodium should give me the silicon. The solar grade one. Okay, we got something. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, it has been a while later, and I had to gather some resources. So the quest book actually tells us to make a few silicon solar grades, which is like 4. But basically we need that in order to make the monocrystalline silicon. For that you need actually half a stack of that. So long story short, we need to make way more. And yes, I have also made myself an advanced assembling machine. It's nothing super fancy, it just does more recipes. So I have been checking the recipes. The previous method that we used is actually not that bad, but this one seems to be easier. You know, we just do it with chlorine, and for getting chlorine, I have been electrolyzing some stuff. So we have 93 buckets. It's not that bad. And the thing that I was electrolyzing also gave me silicon. Also, every single pile of gallium and arsenide that we had is inside the blast furnace, giving us the gallium arsenide crystal. We just have over 1 stack of the solar grade silicon. I think it's just over a stack. Yeah, 1 stack and 9. So I guess let's craft the monocrystalline silicon. You might notice it's taking 450 seconds. So 900 seconds for both of them. However, there are other things that we can do. Because once we get that silicon, we need to cut it. That means we are going to need a brand new cutting machine for the medium voltage age. Oh, and by the way, I think I forgot to mention, but I also found mica. I was trying to stand near the B area. It was somewhere down there. Oh, we have everything except the saw blade. Perfect. There you go. That's the brand new cutting machine. However, we're not going to get the quest until we get the monocrystalline silicon. But later on we do need to engrave it, so how do we do that? Electrum. I have been cooking electrum. Awesome. Yeah, it's not a crafting task, so we can craft it, then hold it in our inventory. It's just that when I was mining, I found 1 more ender pearl, and I don't know where it is. It was not... oh, it's here. It wasn't part of the ore, so it doesn't go into the chests. I just put them inside random chests. I'm very organized, I know. But it's not a big deal, you can buy an enderman egg and kill him. So, if I'm not wrong, that should be the emitter, and that should be a quest. Come on. Thank you. And I'm missing everything. It's okay, we will manage. The electronic circuit, if we want to craft it, the only thing that we're missing is the good circuit board, and I think I have been making some. And I have not been making some. It's okay, we have been actually preparing for this. We do have the iron 3. That should give us the circuit board at a reasonable price. I crafted a bunch of circuits, and yes, our silicon is ready. Thank you, thank you. Thankfully, our engraver is also ready. That's not a quest, I suppose. Well, not yet. We have to cut it first, which is really not a big deal. We don't have that many to cut anyways. Oh, that's fast. The second one is also almost ready. Can't really complain. Yay, we have the wafers. Oh, you get some of your silicon back. Awesome. So that means our engraver also counts. Please. Thank you. And well, now we need to do two things. One of them is to get stainless steel, which is not that horrifying, which means that we need the MV energy hatch for our blast furnace, 2 of them, and that means we need the low power IC. How do you engrave it? Emerald. But that's also not the entire deal, we also need these. That's rubies. Do you give it all? No. So I have to check which one we have. How do you make emerald lens? Okay, it has to be exquisite. Well, I have an exquisite sapphire. Will that work? Yeah, seems that one works. For those of you who don't know, the way that the precision laser works is that you need a lens. The sapphire lens that I have is going to give us the random access memory chip. Yeah, it's this one. It has to go inside the lathe, and after a bunch of time we will get the lens. So there are 2 more lenses that we need. One of them is either emerald or terra, and the other one is either rubies or ignis. And I think it's very obvious to mention that I don't have them. So it is true, we can either get the emerald lens or the ruby lens from the quest reward. So I have an idea. We're going to go to the Twilight forest and see which one of them are we going to get first. Obviously the one that we don't find is the one that we're going to claim as a quest reward. We just need some torches, and if we look hard enough there should be more torches. I'll be right back. Now, since we are going to go to the Twilight forest, let's also get an extra heart just in case. I can have one more. Yes, we have 7 lives. This is not really going to be 100%, but this is a Terra vein. So if we are going to get the exquisite version, it's going to be here. This might sound a bit stupid, but something very funny happened. So this was the Terra vein. I hollowed it out, almost. And then I thought, okay, let's move on to the next vein. There was a small diamond ore here, and well, exquisite diamond. That's not what I was expecting. Wait, is this useless? Yeah, I think it's useless. Okay, never mind. I'll look for more. There are some points in your life where you realize that you have made a mistake and, well, you have to admit defeat. Oh, maybe not. Well, I made a sifter. I couldn't find that stupid thing. It was getting really boring. But yeah, we have the sapphire lens and now we're going to get the emerald one. So that means that as a quest reward, we're going to accept the ruby one? Yeah. Nice. Also, I have been preparing for a few stuff. We have half a stack more wafers. So that means we don't really need to have the cutting machine. We can have our engraver. And let's do this by the book. We need the low power IC. And I already forgot. Yeah, that's the emerald one. Is it ready? Yes. What happened? Yeah, this is GregTech. You cannot right click with a lot of things. And if you do, you need a thing in order to remove that thing. Get removed. Thank you. So I guess let us cut the one or engrave the one. Next stage is going to be horrifying. We have to do this in a clean room. I did mention that we need to do this by the book. And I was wrong. Because if we want to do this by the book, now we have to cut it. It's actually quite fine. It's just a teeny tiny bit of water. And yeah, I just wanted to mention we didn't need 2 wafers. Each one gives you 6. We need only 4 for the MV energy hatch. So that's 2 extra. But I guess it's fine if we want to have more blast furnaces. But that should be a quest. Come on. Thank you. We're rolling again. That makes me happy. So the MV energy hatch is not really a big deal. You can actually craft it. You don't need the assembler. But you do need it for other stuff. It's not a total waste. We need it for the circuits. But yeah, once we get a bit more lubricant, I can make the hatches. That's not a big deal. I even have the wires. Now, the other thing that we need in semi-large quantities are the integrated circuit and the random access memory. It's just that I don't really remember how many of each one we need. Let's go with 8. It's not a total waste, I guess. Everything will be used later. Using one MV machine at each given time was not really working. I had an extra turbine. We can't really produce that much steam, but I have an assembler. So now at least we can have 2 MV machines for a very short period of time. Let's see how much steam we have. It's dropping, but it's fine. This guy is getting hot. But just as a very small progress update, that's our MV energy hatch. 2 of them. Why you're not a quest? Lubricant. What's lubricant? I had lubricant. And you need to hold 8. Okay. I only had 4. And the funny part is that I actually used 4 in order to make that stupid thing. Uh-oh. Yeah, I have to wait. It's okay. So now we should be able to move on to the most important things, meaning the circuits as well as stainless steel, and hopefully very soon we are going to be at the high voltage age. That's where we are going to slow down and pay attention to what's going on everywhere, because basically right now I'm just gonna YOLO. Getting to the high voltage age is not actually that complicated or difficult, it's just gonna take time. But we are going to do as much as we can today. So I'm centrifuging a dust, which is going to give us another dust called manganese. I'm also centrifuging rubies, but I'm processing a ton of rubies and that takes, I don't know, half an hour. But that will give us enough chrome so that we would be able to make stainless steel. Another very important thing that some of you observant viewers might notice is that I'm making SMD resistors. I really also want to make transistors, but for that, that's actually where everything gets complicated. So these SMD stuff are actually a more efficient way of making different circuits, and we're changing the line of circuits. Until right now, we had the normal garbage circuit from the LVH and the MVH, now we're going with integrated circuits. It does require resistors, diodes, etc., but it's far more efficient and easier to make. It also requires diodes, and yes, even though I did mention that I put all of my gallium arsenide inside the blast furnace, which was semi-true, last episode we also made a bunch, and I have 22 dust. It's the small pile. That together with fine annealed copper should give us some diodes. At a decent rate. Yeah, it's gonna give us 6 per recipe. That's actually quite nice. Let's try that. Yeah, it gives you 6. That's amazing. So we can start making some circuits again. I do have some resistors. We will use that. So we have the circuit board, the resistor, 1 stack of diodes. We're just gonna go with 1 stack. We need the integrated logic circuit, which we have made. Oh, you're slow and garbage. But that's 20 tin. More is being prepared. And we need the fine copper wire. Didn't I just make some? That's perfectly fine. We can always make it. That is amazing. We started making it. We will get 1 stack of that, we will convert it into half a stack of MV ones, and then we will get 16 HV circuits. So that part of it is actually surprisingly easy, nothing is too complicated. The horrifying part is making transistors. We need silicon solar grade plates. How do you do that? Well, you need to put it inside a blast furnace, and it has to have Cantle coils. And the best part of it is that you need to cool it down. In order to cool it down, we can use the mixer from the MVH, but I'm actually using the IC2 machine. I think it gives you a more round number. And besides, for this I'm just using a battery. For that one I have to use an MV turbine. So basically what I have to do is that I have to make Cantle, cook the Cantle, cool down the Cantle, and see how it goes. And I think for making the Cantle, yeah, it has to be high voltage. So I need more generators, is the thing. I have made some generators, and I think now it is time to upgrade our blast furnace. I shouldn't have done that. There's fuel in it. The teeny tiny bit of fuel which is left is fine. It's just that I broke like 15 buckets. But that is okay. We all make boo-boos. So that is the MV energy hatch. Now the blast furnace is going to run at high voltage and we can process Cantle. It's a good thing I found mica. I thought I don't actually need that. But these are advanced semi-fluid generators. Again, we shall have 4 of them. And we just have to divide the fuel. Ouch. Oh, that's the steam. I thought we died. Although I think the fuel consumption is gonna be a bit crazy. We will see. Another thing is that, yeah, we have 1 stack of integrated logic circuits. So now we need to make the MV tier ones. And you need gold wire. Now these are all electromotors, that's gold. Resistors are obviously not a big deal. Diodes are a big deal because we don't have gallium arsenide anymore. But there is another way of making diodes, I think with the wafers. Yeah, 1 wafer, annealed copper, gives you 4. I don't really want to waste all the wafers, so we go with 16. Yeah, that gives us 4. I also might have to buy a bit of that. We will see. Well, I mean, I had coins on me. That's 8. We have to wait for 40 minutes. This one requires silver bolts, which takes ages. Oh, and yeah, the circuit board. Now it works. The quest book only wants us to make 8. We will make as much as we can. Might not be half a stack, but even 16 is fine. Crafting the Cantle dust is not really a big deal. We have actually made it before, so I had a bit extra. And so far we have 7 hot ingots, and I think we have enough dust. Maybe not. But we will have enough dust, we have plenty of chrome, we have plenty of aluminium, and plenty of iron. And I do have a decent supply of rubies in order to make more. Anyways, now we need to cool down everything. So I have made an MV chemical bath. Wait, when you're carrying a super tank, you don't get slowness or anything. And you keep the content. Anyways, that's not really a big deal. Fluid output into a trash. I have some IC2 coolants, and we can cool down the Cantle ingots. We have 9. It takes 45 seconds. So totally not a big deal. Oh, this takes long. 60 seconds! My dearest Dream Master, I think somebody screwed up the timings. It's just a hunch. I need like 200 of those things. I think... No, I need 128, because each ingot is going to give me 2 cables. So actually we're done with making Cantle, let's not waste anything. And we're going to move to stainless steel. How do we make that one? It's not that bad. That also takes 45 seconds. Okay, well, see you in around 2 hours. I also need to make the silicon. But I did manage to get 12, because I was cutting the silicon. In any case, I'm a bit screwed. See you in around 2 hours. It has been maybe an hour later. Yeah, we have 59 Cantle. That makes sense. Exactly 59 minutes later. And yes, I'm even taking care of the mica. But another thing is that I have been claiming all the rewards. Sword of the Cosmos. That's actually not that bad. I don't mind potions. The LV ones, I think they're just gonna be weird. Yeah, I thought that's a dress. It does look like a dress. Oh, I got a sacred oak sapling. That's gonna give me a giant tree. Diesel. Diesel is nice. They're not something super fancy, but we got like 9 circuits. And I have 31 for the MVH. I did check the quest line, that doesn't look like 37. Maybe some of them gave us extra ones? Wooden screws. From MV loot bags and strings. Awesome. That was sarcasm. What did I get? Less power loss. Ah, the duct tape. I think. Some batteries. That's good. Oh my goodness, what the hell is this? Tunneler. Mining level cobalt. Durability 27,000. What the hell? Mine has a durability of 2,700. Thank you. But that's amazing. 1 full capacitor bank. Really? And an elevator. Another capacitor. What? Somebody loves me. I think. Another elevator. And the centrifuge. Okay, the MV ones were great. I mean, it's not the Sword of the Cosmos, but I can live with that. Also, I was incredibly lazy to make a gold upgrade, so thank you. I wanted to upgrade my hammer. Apparently, I don't have to anymore. Oh, this doesn't have fortune. Modifiers remaining. Well, that was fun for me. I have to still wait for another hour. Actually, more. We have 65 Cantle. So you do the calculation. It's gonna take ages. I have been AFK here in order to get Cantle, and well, we have extra. The thing is, you know this inventory thing which you middle click and it sorts everything? Things were not sorted. I didn't notice we already have 2 stacks. So we would be able to move to the next part of the plan, which is making the actual coils. We're bending the mica. I'm really hoping that's enough. And I'm making Cantle wires. And most importantly, I think we need copper nickel, and I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. For that, I actually had to make an MV extractor because this recipe was not working in LV. So that's half a stack of Cantle, that's some insulator, and does it work? Yes, that one actually doesn't take that long. Oh, and by the way, I'm also making stainless steel. We have 36 ingots. The quest book wants us to make 1 stack, so I'm just making 1 stack. And then we can finally craft that stupid silicon and the HV circuit. Did we get the coil? Oh yeah, we have 3. Oh wait a minute, that's too much copper nickel, you need only 16 ingots. Yeah, my bad. It's okay, it's not a huge waste, it's not even that expensive. And besides, we can take the fluid out. Yeah, it's exactly 2 stacks of Cantle, and that should be the final one. Come on. Perfection at its finest. So you're working. Let's make it stop. I think I have to wait for it to finish. It's okay. Yes, it's done. We can remove these coils and put the Cantle. That is our brand new Cantle blast furnace. It doesn't really change anything for stainless steel because I think we have to go 2 tiers higher with the coils. So yeah, it's still 60 seconds, but it's fine. At least we can process the silicon. Silicon requires helium. Yeah, we will just use this recipe. It doesn't really matter. It takes longer, it takes more power, but at least we will get it. Without a rabbit hole. My fellow dark ones, we have the silicon plate. It's been a while, and that should be our transistors for the first time. And where does it go? I have no... Oh, it's there. You need to have 24 of them, which is perfectly fine. There you go. That should be a quest. And now we can make the actual circuit. Yeah? Oh, it's making it. It's just a bit slow. 40 seconds. Well, obviously I have made more, so let's make more. We're gonna run out of annealed copper. That's fine, it's not really a big deal. We just need 4 circuits and I have enough material. But while that one is cooking up, I have been processing some stainless steel. By processing, I don't really mean anything fancy, I just made some plates. So that is our HV machine casing, and I guess we just do this in an assembler because I don't have polyethylene sheets. So there you go. That's our HV machine hall. And that should be our circuits. Now we are at the HV age. I think. Yes. Wait, what? One loot pack. HV. This is our first one. String. It's okay. Okay, now that we have reached the high voltage age, we're gonna slow down a bit. It's not like we have a choice anyways. We need tons of resources, we need tons of chemicals, and we need tons of brand new machines. But this age has unlocked a few things for us. For example, now we can properly get into Thaumcraft as well as Botania and even Blood Magic. Well, we need to get into Witchery before we get into Blood Magic, but yeah, we can. However, the most important thing that this age has unlocked for us is actually the inventory panel from Ender.io. It's some sort of an inventory management system. You know, this guy over here. You know, if mod packs were not that complicated, I would never upgraded this to an applied energistic system. Is not jubilant. Who cares? Well, long story short, the inventory panel is going to be our top priority, which we will achieve it next episode. And after that, we get into magic, some chemicals, and we try to progress. But that's our main priority. I don't really enjoy going through like 50 million different chests. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It makes life a bit easier. You know, I just chopped down one tree. What happened? That was a lot of wood. Just before we wrap up today's episode, there are a few things that I need to do. I want to go adventuring and I want to gather some resources. I need to do mining. So I was thinking maybe I should upgrade my backpacks. So yeah, I do have the tanned leather. 6 more is being prepared. And we can have 3 more. That's actually not great. I have 4 backpacks. Seems I'm out of leather. It's okay, I think we should be able to purchase some leather. Oh, it's survival 1. Okay, that one? Yeah, we can have 4 more and still one of them is not gonna fit. It's fine. I should have more drying racks, but for later. Oh, and by the way, on episode 1, I did mention that you cannot wear the backpack. And a lot of you mentioned, yes, you can. So I'm a bit confused. Where? How? How would you wear this? There is a shortcut for it, but it doesn't open it. And if I come to my equipment, I can't wear it anywhere. I can put it in a crafting grid, but that's it. I can also turn it around for some reason. So honestly speaking, I don't actually see any slots anywhere. But anyways, we can upgrade our backpacks to the middle version. Now that we have stainless steel. That almost gives us a capacity of 1 stack of stacks. But for mining, I need the miner's backpack from forestry. That gives you 15 slots, which is not amazing. So here is a squeezer. We're gonna squeeze the backpacks. No, I did manage to get a decent amount of woven silk, so we can upgrade, I think, 3 of those backpacks. They will have triple the capacity. That's 3 stacks and 30. And 5 more. Anyways, this is something that we also have to do for Thaumcraft, so it's not a big loss. That is LV, so you can go there and squeeze stuff. What we want to make is seed oil, and I do have some peanuts over there. That's not much, it's like 100. Do we have more peanuts in the kitchen? Oh well, that doesn't really matter, they will grow back. Don't explode. Okay, you didn't. That gives us seed oil. The woven silk that we have does require a carpenter, but for the moment we can actually use the assembler. We need to compress it, so it's circuit number 9, everything goes in. And we need water. Yeah, exactly. That gives us woven silk. It's a bit expensive, that's a string. We need 9 of these to upgrade 1 backpack. Let me also make a carpenter, and we also need impregnated sticks. That's also a carpenter. Okay, we're good. We need the stick in order to make frames for the bees, as well as making our first wand. I made the carpenter, and it seems we have only enough woven silk in order to upgrade 2 of the backpacks. I don't actually know how to... Oh, okay. So you go there? Where do you go? Can you like drag and drop? No. Well, there is a chance that we need more seed oil. It does require 5,000 millibuckets. That's a big oops. Oh my goodness, they haven't even grown. Well, seed is seed. Wheat seed is also acceptable, although at a very garbage rate. But yeah, based on the seed oil that we have, we can only have 1 backpack. That's it. Do you have power? No, but yes. Miner's woven backpack. That gives us 45 slots. It's like carrying 3 backpacks at the same time. Anyways, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.